Check 1, 2. Check.
All right.
Then we'll get into it.
All right.
We'll get into this thing. I'm not leaving until one of us tries. That's probably be me.
That's right. I think I can record.
No.
You guys are all
Hang on.
Hang on. Here we go.
Wow, it's still all made up from cake.
Shake it up. Shake it up radio.
Live on YouTube.
Where are you?
Technology.
Still back in the 70s.
You guys don't mind if I film your
No, please do. Please do. Thank you.
That was me in the 70s. Well, 1970.
I love that.
There we go.
There we go.
Woo!
Okay.
Whew.
Fool him again, Eric.
Stand by.
What a tease. What a tease.
You know. Welcome back to the Cat and Fiddle. Here on CanuckTunes.ca, we are continuing a Shake It Up Friday. We just had Thomas Dupree and New Mother Nature earlier. Now, I bring it over to Framous, our host. Here he is.
Thank you for your. Every time you introduce me, you outdo yourself, sir. We call you Sound Man in all capitals for a reason, because you are the sound man of Sound Man, making of the sounds. And
Yeah.
what a great show so far. The Thomas Dukesbury boys almost jumped out of the building.
No kidding.
And,
Holy
we
cow.
had the time down. They're knocking microphones over and unplugging sound systems, and it was quite chaotic, but well worth it.
Indeed.
And now we're about to get more chaotic, and a lot more shit is about to get broken, because our next guest is the ray of light herself, JACQUILINE Rendell. Put your hands together, everybody. What a great pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
And see you again. We're old pals. We haven't seen each other in so long, but well, what a great. Thanks for coming. What a
Thank you.
great to see you.
Thanks for
So-
having me.
So just hit us with something, and we'll just carry on and
All
do what we do.
Right on. Let's do it. This
All
song's
right.
called Rhizomatic.
Rhizomatic.
Yeah.
JACQUILINE Rendell, everybody.
Born of the Father, King of the Sun, and we're made of the Mother, Queen of the Moon. We search and we search for answers. One day they decided to split us all up, and now we're falling to pieces, forgetting we're one. We search and we search wholeness. We search and we search. It's a world of illusion, distraction and fear, where what you believe in is what becomes real. Magic's always in season. We reap what we sow. If you want a good harvest, then plant what will grow. Plant what will grow. Eyes above, so below. Turning our metal into gold. As within, so without. When you're an immortal soul, you're an immortal soul. Whoa. Born to wreak havoc, shake up the world, and we're also angelic, trying to be good. We search, oh we search for some balance. But one day we decide to walk the path of our hearts. We be rising above it, unifying our parts. We search, oh we search for wholeness. We search, as above, so below. Turning our metal into gold. As within, so without. When you're an immortal, all boats rise together on a rising sea. Always alchemizing, rise automatically. You do you and I'll do me. As above, so below. Turning our metal into gold. As within, so without. When you're an immortal soul.
Yes. Beautiful.
Thank you.
You are a soul miner, my friend. Are you not? An existential excavator.
Yeah.
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 You're writing about life. You're going through life. You're always open. We just said a little phrase. You wrote it in the book, and you go through life. I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine whose daughter was an artist, and she was going to school for art, visual art, but also poetry. But the artist kind of ethos, and he was like one of those guys that was thinking like, how is that going to translate into economics and living and life? And I tried to relate to him the fact that, luckily enough to go through life as an artist ourselves, it's not just when we are sitting here with the guitar in our lap or the book or the pen. It's when you're going for a walk. It's when you're talking to your friends. It's when you're listening. It's when you go through the world as an artist and you receive the stuff that lets us put it through our machine, our contextualizing machine, and make sense of it, and then make something palpable and tangible out of it.
Yes.
So when did you discover that was your path?
Oh man, that was beautiful. By the way, I do believe that we.
You're not supposed to cry right away. We've got an hour.
I know.
We
I'm a
have an
liability,
hour.
Michael.
I am a liability. I should come with a warning. Tears will
You've got
happen.
the earliest crying record on. Well, no, not earlier than me. I was crying before the show in my car. So anyway.
Well, that actually could tie into my answer, which is that I've always been aware of a heightened sensitivity that I have. But
Yes.
what's interesting is being a child and it being a liability. It was always kind of a weakness in a way of you're too sensitive, you're too sensitive.
Yeah.
Right?
Tamp it down.
It's like
Tamp it
I
down.
don't know what's going on, but I'm feeling things and I don't know what to do with it.
Yes.
And then you're not really living in a society that allows for a transmutation or teaches you. We're taught, 2 + 2 is 4, which is handy, but we're not taught how do you deal with your emotions and make them productive for you and nourishing for you. And I'm so glad I got into songwriting because that's the tool for me.
Yes.
To take what I see and observe and experience and turn it into gold.
Absolutely, yeah.
We are alchemists here.
To make something out of something that wasn't there. It was in the universe before. It was a feeling or a.
Yeah, or things are going to happen.
Yes.
Life is hard. I remember reading The Road Less Traveled when I was a teenager, and the first sentence of that book is life is difficult. So you best arm yourself with tools for how to just navigate, because it's not going to not be easy.
Absolutely.
But you can become a warrior with a tool belt and ways that work for you. Everyone has their own recipe. But for me, from 18 when I wrote my first song, or 16, I wrote my first song. Of course, it was about heartbreak.
Of course.
Which is one of our first things we have to transmute. Those are all new feelings you've never felt before. And you don't want it to take you out of the game at such an early age.
No.
So you kind of have to express them somehow.
And how did that? Did somebody put a guitar in your hand? Did you pick that up yourself, or how did that find its way as your projector, your machine for doing what you needed to do?
I love your questions. So I lived with a piano from a very early age, and I was always tinkering around on that because I grew up in the country. So my friends were cows. So I had a piano. And then my dad got my younger sister a classical guitar for Christmas one day, and I ended up just somehow finding myself drawn to it and just picking it up, and this song just came out, which is an example of how we really are antenna. I do believe the ether contains all the information. It's just, are you tapping into it or
Absolutely. Not? Just tuning it in like a radio station.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
How I feel when I'm writing.
Yes. So the
in
muse
a creative
struck.
pen, for sure, yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, because you don't really feel like it's even coming from you.
No.
You're channeling something.
Absolutely.
So I wrote this song, and I noticed how it just, and the thing with being a songwriter, as you know, it's something you can sing over and over to yourself. It's almost like you're hypnotizing yourself and soothing yourself, and it became this self-soothing mechanism for me. Because singing in its own right is very healing.
Absolutely.
And then when you add your own words that you want to say that are true for you,
catharsis.
Yeah, it becomes a very powerful medium for transcending an experience you had, and then you continue growing out from there. So I wrote my first song, and then I went to London, Ontario I followed the herd to university, because it's what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
Even though I knew I was I was wearing Doc boots in the cattle, and then I played my one song on a live radio station on CHRW. My friend was a radio show host, and that connected me to my first gig. And
one song.
That first song I wrote.
You won the music business with one song.
I got invited to play Call the Office.
Hey.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, for a CHRW fundraiser. James Rocky was the host at the time. I don't know if you guys know James Rocky, but
I actually got paid to stop playing. I called the office one time. And they said they were going to play CDs, but they were still going to pay me. But anyway, let's get back to your story because it's much happier than mine.
So, but for that show, I needed to write a second song. So I thought, I better think of another issue I have. And
what else is wrong with me? What's going on?
Lots to choose from. So then I wrote my second song, and the rest is history. I ended up dropping out of school, and I just kept gigging because I was the girl on a guitar. Everyone else was kind of a grungy band.
Oh yeah.
And I was the acoustic girl. So.
That's great.
Yeah.
And that was you went to Western.
Yeah, 1993.
93.
Way back then.
And you just you packed it in, and you took your guitar and you started just playing around London. London had a good music scene.
London was amazing.
Yeah.
The embassy and Call the Office, and it was at that time where we would just go out. We wouldn't go to a bar.
we would go to live music venues. You paid $2 at the door. It didn't matter who was playing.
Mm-hmm.
You go in, everyone's there. You love what's going on the stage, and it just becomes this beautiful community.
Yes.
Yeah.
And was there a, because we've, our connection begins at a open mic here in Hamilton. Was there an open mic community that you kind of cut your teeth in London, or did you just go right to be in
Right to gigs?
Right
to gigs. And I remember my first real gig. I had to have my friend Rob play guitar for me because I still couldn't really play guitar, which is how I still feel, by the way.
Come on, don't be silly.
But it's a tool for songwriting.
Yeah.
I don't identify as a guitarist.
No, same here.
I'm a songwriter.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's what happened. I luckily just connected with the right people. Luckily, whatever that is.
You attract what you put out though too, right?
Yeah, so I felt supported to become this thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and here I am 30 years later.
The singer-songwriter, that's what you were doing, acoustic singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
The Jewel.
Yeah,
model.
I opened for Jewel.
You opened for Jewel,
I
yeah.
did, yeah. Vegas. Yeah, it was, you know what's funny about that is.
Was that around that same time period?
Yeah, it was
90s?
1995.
Wow.
It was her first tour. It was at the Embassy. Does anyone know the Embassy here? Yeah, okay, of course. Amazing venue.
Yep.
It was a free show. It was her first time playing in Canada. And that was at that time she was living in her car.
I was going to say, was she still driving around living in her vehicle? Yeah.
Yep. And I played Salisbury Hill, which was, well, I didn't play. I had to hire a friend. My friend from the Gandharvas played guitar for me.
Wow.
And that's what I remember about that night.
And did anybody come out? Did Jewel have any pre-promotional hype, or was it just like she just showed up and nobody kind of knew who she was?
From my set, I never met her.
No.
There was a bit of a hierarchy, I think, happening that night. Although I don't want to.
She could have been nervous though. No, she could have been scared.
Yeah, you know, she's probably doing her vocal trills and things up there.
Yeah.
But it was an amazing experience because again, I just felt so supported.
Yeah.
I didn't choose this; it chose me in a way, and
So you just got on and wrote it
yeah.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
How long did that? How long were you the London guitar girl for?
Well, at a certain point, I think later in 1995 or 97, I decided to move to Toronto because, of course, as everyone does, they're like, "Oh, well, I want to be a small fish in a bigger sea."
You want to get into the business.
Yeah. So I did that, and then I did some gigging and such, and then I ended up moving out to Vancouver, which was a little bit of a reroute in a way from Ontario.
That's a lot of a reroute in a way, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've driven that drive. It's more than one stop at a gas station. That's for sure.
Yeah, there was a lot of inner development that happened for me there, and I gigged out there, of course, and did a lot of songwriting.
How did the Vancouver music scene treat you?
It was really great because I lived on Commercial Drive, which is like the hippie zone, and I worked at Sweet Cherubim, which is the restaurant that put $2 samosas, and I met all the musicians that would come in there for cheap lunch.
Right. Yep.
You get a bag of samosas for like $6 or something.
Find the place with the most inexpensive menu in town, and there's all the musicians. Yes.
So I met people that way. And again, it was very magical. Like when I landed, I didn't have a job and I didn't have an apartment, but within 24 hours, I had both. It was just flow.
Really rolling the dice there, right?
Flow. Yeah. Because I was called to go, you know, and the more you trust that call.
You're fearless.
Yeah, back then, yeah. Well, now too, I suppose, in a different way. And then, so then that was another chapter of my musical life. You know, I met some really great people out there too and wrote some great songs, I think. And
became part of the community
there
as well,
Yeah, a lot of the music there was about dance parties on a Mayan calendar date, on a full moon, on a mountaintop on the Sunshine Coast, you know, and that's what those gigs were like.
Really?
Yeah. And then it was like all night long. And then you would go to the Gumboot Cafe for breakfast in the morning and everyone would just be smiling.
Come down from the mushroom trip and go home and go to bed?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
That sounds,
yeah.
That sounds like my 20s. Exactly.
It's all rites of passage.
Oh, definitely. Have you got, how about hitting us with with another tune. You got your book here and
Sure,
you got your
sure.
stuff. And
I'm going to do a song called A Time to Begin. This is a song I wrote fairly recently after the end of a 10-year relationship. And it took me a long time to be able to even pick up my guitar because it was too sensitive. And then when I did, this is what poured out.
all right, Jacqueline Rendell, everybody.
Am I gonna sleep well at night? Am I gonna wake with the light? Am I ever gonna know if I did it right? What was up is down. World has gone full clown. Everything's inverted. The other way around. So where do we go from here? Ten years came and went. 10 years, time well spent. Truthfully, I will never be the same.
There's some people that get invited.
10 months on my own. Boy, how much I've grown. I still really miss you, but something is perfect too. So where do we go from here? Go onwards and upwards together, all the way to the end. Another end of an era is just a chance to begin. Oh, we go onwards and upwards forever, all the way to the end. Another end of another era is just a time to begin.
Wow. It's like, there goes the rib cage, wide open, 3 chords of the truth, and nothing else from you. Hey,
I made it
Wow.
through without crying.
you did it.
Some people
Dragging
say
Dawn's
over
crying
here, some people say-
Like Johnny Angel's crying. I can Tears up.
Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished.
But yeah, you are just, it's, yeah, 3 chords in the truth or nothing less than for you as a creative, as a writer.
Thank
That's
you.
that's
Thank you for saying that.
that's the truth. Yeah, and you are just going through life and
Dealing.
yeah, dealing. Yeah, You're not making up songs about story songs. You're just like collecting and processing and feeling, and then crunching it all together and
Yeah.
throwing it out. Are you? Do you have times when you're more? It's a more fruitful endeavor, or do you feel like you're tuned in during certain periods, like certain times of the year, or certain times of what's going on in your life? Like, do you feel like, oh, this is rumbling. I feel like, you know, a pressure cooker full of gumbo, and there's going to be some dinner's going to get served pretty soon. Like, how does it work for you?
That's a really good question. I think for me, mostly it usually starts with I need to write.
Right.
That's often a way that I initially process something.
So you know that something's
Yes.
coming up from the ground.
Yes, because you know, most days, well, you know, these days are a little more challenging, and I'll give that. But we're operating in neutrality, and then something comes along and throws us off, and we all have options as to how we deal with that.
Mhm.
We can escape it, we can run from it, we can face it, we can. You know, and for me, journaling has been a way for me to commune with myself, to find that honesty.
Right.
You know, I don't waste time in a victim mindset. I have a motto that things are happening for me, not to me.
Yes.
Which I think really positions me to not waste time. You know, I don't complain and blame and bitch. I mean, maybe I do sometimes, but very rarely. I'd like to skip to the solution.
Yes.
Which for me is about mitigating my reaction to what's happened, or at least mining for the gold. I'm a really big believer that everything we experience is for us.
Right.
So, you know, for me, journaling and writing has been a way to actually mine.
Now, are you of the school of thought? This is my personal kind of take on it, is that people will say everything happens for a reason. My take is everything that happens is a chance for something else to happen.
Oh.
Like, because like you alluded to at the beginning, like things are happening, life is happening, the universe is happening. But it's not happening to us. We just happen to be part of it and in it, but it's not out to get us or give us anything, in my opinion anyway.
Yeah, I can see that.
Except maybe the opportunity to decide how we're going to feel about it and what we're going to do about it or with it.
Yes.
And in an artistic sense as well. Like, okay, we're gonna this happened. Now we can make something out of it, or we can let it burn a hole in us, or we can kill it with alcohol and drugs, or try to anyway. But yeah.
Well, you know, we like our Band-Aids. You know, and I actually wrote a song about that when I lived in Vancouver. We are a bit of a society addicted to band-aiding what we perceive as issues without investigating what the cure is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
or the why.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, which will give you indication as to how to. You're right, and I mean we can do things over and over and over again, but nothing will change.
That's right.
And I do think the universe operates in a way that unless you glean the gold, it will repeat for you until you wake up and hear the lesson.
Right.
You know? So I just rather get to the lesson. I'm like, you know, I'm old enough and, you know, time is ticking. It's like, okay, so what's the lesson?
Yeah.
What's the solution?
Yes.
So I believe in humans, and I think that maybe is one of my my default setting is I believe we're very powerful.
Absolutely.
We're creative. We're solution, you know, generators. We're genius. When we're escaping, we're not. When we're being distracted, we're not. When we're fearful, we forget. But I believe in us that we can be.
Or when we're isolated in our cars or in our phones.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna act a lot differently. You know, people act a lot differently going through life if they're you know, fueled by anger in their car or their phone. But if you are standing with them in an elevator, they're gonna act diametrically opposed to the way that they would act if they had this protective shell of being able to just throw fire bombs at the world, as opposed to being in the human space, trading the human, you know, the energy and getting something positive out of it, as opposed to just gripping the wheel and just growling at the world, right?
Well, and
And hitting that keyboard, like
yes.
Yeah.
Reaction, you're either reacting or you're creating.
Mm-hmm.
To oversimplify perhaps, but it's interesting how those words have the same letters. And I think the key for a lot of us is to watch when we're reacting, because we're disempowered when we're reacting.
Well, now I'm just about to cry right now. Tearing up.
What sign are you?
Want some tissue?
Jacqueline, what sign are you?
I'm a double Leo, so that means my sun
Leo.
and my moon.
Okay. that
In the
explains it.
tropical
Did you figure it out, Gary?
astrology.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I thought it was like maybe a Sag or a Libra. But
Well, I'm a fire sign, but in the sidereal
Fire sign,
astrology, I'm a Cancer, which explains all the crying.
sidereal.
Yes.
Let's not go there
I
because
know.
that's a show on itself.
That's a conversation for another day. Yeah, you ready for another one?
Well, I'm ready.
All right.
We are ready.
All right. Okay, sweet. Okay, so I'll just give a little. I wrote this song because basically I think words are spell casting, and if I'm going to sing a song over and over again, I want it to hypnotize myself with a good message and other people.
Yes.
And the other thought I had behind this song is anyone who is living their last day, no matter how difficult life is, you wouldn't wish for more time here. So in the meantime, I'm just going to be happy to be here, despite how difficult it can be.
You mean here at the Cat Fiddle with Shaking Up Radio? Because
The microcosm of the
this is, we're talking the micro, not the macro. Or we're talking the macro, not the micro.
macro, baby.
Yeah, okay, macro. Baby. Here we go.
I love a summer.
Again.
All of a sudden we're all in a new world. There's no going back. All of us are living inside a new world. A new world with an old man. They say the best way to move forward is to leave the past behind. But who the hell are they to tell me what to do? What to do with my mind? Evolution doesn't travel in a straight line. It swings from side to side. The secret that no sits in the middle, hidden in plain sight. Well, I hope and I pray expectations win the day. 'Cause I hold mine in my hand, let the rest slip through like sand. I'm just happy to be here. Happy to be here. high, my skin is soft, my mind is clear. I am happy to be here. I am just happy to be here. I don't know why, I don't know where, I don't know how, I no longer care. As long as I am existing somewhere, I am happy to be there. I am happy to be here. I don't need to play, 'cause I know expectations win the day. I get what I expect, so I expect the very, very best. That's why I'm so happy to be here. I am happy to be here. I am happy to be here. All of a sudden we're all in a new world, and we are the new man.
Everybody.
Thank you. It's my newest one. Thanks.
That's good stuff. More truth.
Thank you.
So you're in Vancouver.
You just touched my bum. That's
Did you let's connect the dots and get you here in Hamilton. So how does the
I met a boy.
You met a boy in Vancouver
I met a boy in Vancouver.
from Hamilton?
He was from Thornhill, and he went to VCC music school out there, and he was playing in jazz. He had an upright bass. He was a great bass player, great guitar player, and he and his bandmate Howie, they wanted to go to Toronto to make it in the industry, right?
It is. Yeah.
And I said, well, I'm not done with you yet, so I'm coming with you.
Right.
So I'd been out there for 4 years. I was ready to come home, and so I ended up living in Toronto with him. And then I was there in Toronto for 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the biz, in and out of the biz, living life.
I did a couple of reroutes. Like, music has not been a straight path for me.
Mhm.
It's always kind of been a bit like 3 steps forward, 2 steps back.
I can relate.
Dealing with self-doubt, dealing with finances, dealing with
Life.
how to be me, and just, and how to earn a living. So I was always gigging. You know, I had a residency at Say What, I had a residency at the Drake, and,
Nice.
you know, I gigged,
Yeah.
which was great. And then, but I was bartending.
Mhm.
And that runs its course when you get older. And so I one day I said, I'm going to start an upholstery business.
Okay.
I know, random, right?
Jack White inspired.
Actually, I was pouring beer, lots of beer, for a man at the bar I worked at, and he owned an upholstery business. And I said, will you teach me a skill? Like, I don't have skills. So I apprenticed with him, and then I ended up starting my own business called Uplift, and I did that for 7 years. And
Wow, that's amazing.
The guitar got really dusty,
Yeah.
you
So
know?
you were working with your hands?
I was.
Yes.
And I love that.
You had your head down, rolling that rock every day.
Yeah.
Sisyphus,
Oh,
up and
man.
down the hill. Start at the bottom, roll it up again. Yeah.
Very
loving it.
rewarding.
Yeah.
You know, every chair
The
is
simplicity,
different.
yeah.
Every project is different, but there's a gratification that comes from working with your hands,
Absolutely.
finishing a project,
Mhm.
because that's how you get paid.
Yes.
You know, when you're working for yourself, you have the luxury of having 62 million unfinished songs. But if you want to pay rent, you're like, here's your chair, finished.
Yes.
And so I did that for a
Did
while.
you have a physical, like a shop that you had? Did you sublet some space from somebody, or did you have your own kind of space that you did that?
Yeah. So looking back, I'm like, how did you put up with it? So I had my partner, who I lived with for 10 years. We had a spare bedroom, and that was my workshop.
Oh, okay.
So the compressor was going on and off, staples,
The
staples,
nail gun,
staples.
yeah.
He's like, there's thread everywhere and staples, Jack. What are you doing? But and then I retired. So I was drifting away from my music a little bit, although I was always recording on my computer.
Right.
digital electronic stuff on Ableton. And then one really random morning, I got a text from this guy that I'd met in Vancouver saying, I want you to join my band in 2017. And I was like, oh my God, really? Oh, okay. He said, yeah, we're a 4-piece band. I think we need a keyboard player. You should come join our band.
Right out of the blue.
Yeah, out of the blue.
You weren't even playing music.
No, but I guess he remembered me.
Right.
And I said, I felt that pull, which was like, I like to use goosebumps as an indicator. It's like, go this way.
Right.
And so I went and met the bandmates and
in Vancouver.
No, this was in Toronto.
Oh, they had come
This
to
is
Toronto.
2017.
Okay.
And I moved back to Toronto in 2004. So I'd been there for a while doing, So I joined this band and was back on stage playing my keyboard.
Right.
Backup. There was a singer, there was a female singer, and I loved it. It was a great reintroduction. But then it kind of fired me back up again.
Right.
To like, okay, I want to sing
Start
my
doing your own
songs.
stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty, busy, successful band. What was the name of the band?
It was called She Wears Black.
Were you guys recording?
We were like
gigging,
post-punk.
doing the whole
I
kind
played
of
the horseshoe for the first time
Nice.
with that band
Yeah.
on a Tuesday. So I got that under my belt.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Which was really amazing. I love those guys. The music, I didn't end up loving the music enough to stay with them.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a stepping stone, and a gift at the time I needed it.
Yes.
So
that got the juices musically.
Yeah.
You got your shovel and your miner's hat back on, and you started digging for more truth.
Yeah.
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 And you were doing that in Toronto.
Yep.
And then
Leslieville.
So now you're in Toronto. You're polstering. You're kind of putting that down. You're picking the music back up again.
Yep.
So what brings you down the QEW to the ambitious city full of beautiful souls and bad attitudes?
One more detour in there.
Okay.
COVID, lockdown. Upholstery. I do an audition for audiobooks because it was this. A friend had connected me to this audiobook opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So all 2020, I did audiobooks inside a tiny closet, and I've never stopped. So now that's kind of become my bread and butter.
I was going to ask you about that.
Reading books into a microphone.
Wow.
Which is really fun. So I do fiction and I do nonfiction. So a lot of
do you do that in your place, or do you go to a place to do that?
No, I do it at home.
Do it at home.
If you have a closed closet, you have all you need.
Wow.
Yeah. So then that relationship terminated in July 2021, and I moved here, I was born in Hamilton.
Oh, okay.
My mom, my family's here.
You're squaring the circle here.
I
Yes.
am.
Yes.
I am.
Sounds like me a bit.
Yeah, funny. And so I ended up back here because I didn't really know
The
where else to
relationship
go.
was terminated?
Yeah, no, it was a weird way to put it,
That
wasn't it?
sounds pretty, yeah.
It was-
Sounds like there was some carnage
ran
there.
its course.
Okay, it ran its
It
course.
ran its course.
All right.
We mined all the gold
Yes,
in that mine.
right. You
And,
took your shiny stuff and went separate ways.
which is good for songwriting. And and then I'm here, and it's been amazing to land here and revisit the city. I was 18 when I left it.
Wow, yeah.
Seeing it through different eyes, and
Did you reconnect with an old kind of gang, a tribe, or did you build a new
No.
tribe? I know you were, like I say, we were orbiting around each other with a bunch of other people at the open mic, which is a great place to build community. Is that where you kind of found your tribe again in Hamilton?
Yeah, I would say I kind of came here not really knowing anybody outside my family.
You came here in 2020, you said?
2021.
2021.
And kind of just literally just rebuilt my friendships and community. I met Rebecca, my beautiful friend Rebecca, and
Rebecca, everybody.
Tammy. Shout out Rebecca.
Shout out Rebecca. Didn't think she was going to get a hand today. But she's getting one, yes.
And Tammy, who
Yes.
was the glue for the cat.
Wow, she's the straw that stirs the drink.
Yeah.
Yes.
What an amazing singer and writer she is.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's one of those magical things where the musicians, you always end up finding each other.
Yes.
It's funny, right? We're like magnets for each other.
That was a great open mic because super great vibes and everybody was protecting each other and rooting for each other. And
yeah,
it's one of the best ones for sure.
The room just felt like a perpetual hug.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anything could happen in there. It was there's, I don't have really the words to describe it. It was a profound, every time we had an experience there, it was
Yes.
nourishing and expansive.
Yeah, I love open mics still. Well, that one, when you find a good one.
Yeah.
Regardless of, if you at some point get some hubris and some ego, which we've all had, and I've had at different times in my career.
Yeah.
Earlier, not now, but you think that you've gone past it, but you don't go past it. And I got some good advice about, stick with the open mics.
Huh.
And if you want to learn stuff, you can learn as much at the white belt class as you can at the black belt class if you keep your eyes peeled,
And at the end of the day, we're just people sharing space.
Yeah.
Like that's all that these buildings are, is they're opportunities to share space with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And what
bring
happens?
your stuff in that you've been protecting and writing and living, and you bring it in and then you throw it on the table and show everybody, and everybody's like, okay, time for a hug now.
Vulnerability and bravery is rewarded.
Yes.
And I've been transforming my perfectionism into just be real. It's like, I think this is, this age of Aquarius is going to bring us into authenticity is the connective glue now for people. I think we're done with the masks. We're done with the pretending and the I think we're just being asked to be what we are, and for that to be enough. And
that's a great sentence. I'll give that a hand too. For sure.
Yeah. So
I want to be on your team.
That's what I write about.
Yes.
I don't need a placard. I don't need to go. This is my messaging because I believe in it, and it's for me and it's for anyone it resonates with. But it's you can okay, I love you too. Bye. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm starting to think about what do I want to leave behind, and if I can leave behind messaging that I can just stand behind.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my gift to the world. I don't have anything to offer really, except for chairs that look better than they did before, and
chairs
and music.
Chairs and songs.
Yeah, and we all have something to give, and I'm really clinging to like this is my thing now, so I'm just going in with both feet, and so here I am. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, right on.
You got something else you want to hit us with, or
sure? Like, what are we thinking? One more? 2 more?
We'll just
10 more. No, I'm just
sorry.
Just settle down. Let me figure it out, okay?
Yeah.
Get your own show if you want to make the rules. You just keep playing. We'll keep asking you to play. You just keep going.
All right. Well, I'm thinking of doing "Be That Light" right now.
Oh, that's a great song. I've heard that one many times.
Okay,
Yes.
because I'm thinking we all need to be the light
Be
for
that
each
light.
other.
Our album is called "Be the Light." Me and Betty. So wow.
Oh,
true.
Rise
Be
in
that light.
Yeah.
Ours is "Be the Light."
Love it.
Yeah.
Love
So
it. That's Rise on
let there be light.
Yeah. That's the mycelial network in action right there.
Yes.
Strange days are upon us. Reason is going underground. Learning how to tread water so I don't drown. Following the horizon all the way to the sea, where I'm walking on the water. So wave after wave after wave won't catch me, won't catch me. Wave after wave, we're moving forward into a dark unknown. There is a light at the end of every tunnel. still standing tall in the storm. Following the only thing I can trust, the sound of my heartbeat. All the way across the water, so wave after wave after wave. Won't catch me, won't catch me. Wave after wave. Into a dark unknown. There is light at the end of every tunnel. I will be that light for you, baby. You can be that light. You can be that light. You can be that light.
Yes. Jacqueline Rendell, everybody. Love that one. Be that light. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, another word that comes to mind when pondering what you're up to is diversification of expression, and also another word that comes to mind is 50-50 draw, everybody. So
Get your 50-50 tickets ready.
Winner, Jacqueline, you'll do the honors for us, please, and read the last four numbers. It was last week's winner was $11,472.
This week
winner
it's
is-
$20,000, I think. Or
Grab a ticket.
chicken, don't get greedy.
Read the last. Everybody get your 50-50 tickets ready, everybody.
Get them ready.
Get them ready.
Like a
Last
test
four
jar.
numbers.
We're talking 2, 3, 9, 8.
2398. Have we got a winner? I'm hearing a yes, sir. We got a winner. 2398.
I'll meet you in the back alley later.
The money's in the money.
2398. You are a winner, sir.
I'll buy 5 more tickets.
Whatever is
Awesome.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
There you go. See?
What?
It was 11,000 or $20 Canadian.
Next round's on you.
11,000 lira.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, back to diversification. You are into a lot of things now, expression-wise. You're
Yeah.
on Substack. You're doing live streaming. You're doing stuff on. You're writing. You're also podcasting now. I saw some of your podcasts this morning.
Yeah. Yes.
You are. Is this diversification because you want these different venues to express yourself? Has it got a little bit to do with economics? Is it a little bit of everything? Are you also doing the voice work? Are you just trying to keep yourself stimulated and expressing, and just by doing different things, and you're writing? Like what?
Yeah.
You're
Great
just doing
question.
it all. You're doing it all.
Yeah, and you know what? Actually, it's a very personal thing because everyone has their way of survival in the world, and for a long time, decades of my life, mine was really about kind of hiding.
Right.
As much as I can perform and be on stage and such, I've had my own pattern of diminishing myself and kind of playing small and hiding and being invisible. And there's a reason for that, but that's, so for me,
Well, you know what performers have?
what?
Performers have superior inferiority complexes, and we're introverted extroverts.
Yeah, a bit of a paradox
So when
there.
you're on stage, you can be fully realized and
Yeah,
just out there, cracked wide open. But there's a time when you want to just kind of disappear as well and be part of the behind the furniture.
well, why not crack yourself wide open as a way of being?
Yeah.
And that's really, I guess, a beautiful way of that's what's motivating me to start sharing, is to claim that I have a voice. And if I don't express it, I'm invisible to the world.
Right.
Like, what good am I if I'm not? And I don't mean this in an ego way, and I know you know that I don't. It's actually the least we can all do is claim who we are as unique individuals and offer that, because in all of time, no one will be you ever. No
That's
one in
right.
the past, no one in the future. You are unique.
Right.
So, you know, if I'm not living me fully, then I'm missing that.
Yeah.
So I think what motivated me to join my Substack was just to say, I'm tired of being on the sidelines and watching people be vulnerable and put themselves out there. I can feel that for my own healing and my own growing to become whole.
Yeah.
That's what's required of me.
You want to get in the game.
Yeah.
Off
And
the
it
bench.
doesn't matter what comes back. It's
No.
for me, the success is in the sharing itself. And then whatever happens after that, that's not up to me.
No.
It's just to stop getting in my own way.
Yes.
And that's what this has been about. And the craziest thing about Substack is how, so I joined October 2023. I have never felt more connected and more supported, more understood, more seen, more encouraged, because these people I'm connecting with love what I'm doing. They love what my voice is.
That's great.
So, you know, it's been, oh, thank you. Oh.
So do the people at the Cat and Fiddle.
Yeah. Amazing. You know, and I don't do other social media because I'm not into. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Well, I'm happy. I'm so grateful for that. Thank you. So that's really what it's about, you know. That's it. And so I think the more I kind of share my message of, you know, and I'm not about what other people are doing.
No.
I'm really just making sure that I'm, you know, my only mandate, my only law is do no harm. And otherwise, it's really being in creative mode.
Share your humanity.
Being the light.
Yeah.
Which includes integrating your shadow. You know, it's not Pollyanna. It's we're all things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And finding a balance, like of you know, almost enjoying the fact that there's going to be we're in a world of duality. That's never going away. The dark needs the light needs the dark.
Mm-hmm.
You know, find the pause in the middle.
Yep.
You know, and I think the more of us that get that, I think a lot of us are operating out of fear from things that happen to us that we haven't dealt with, and we're projecting and we're blaming, but we're not really healing it on our own. And so that's kind of been my work.
Or you know, the old attraction and aversion thing, the Buddhist kind of we want things and we don't want things to happen. And the attraction of that, you know, that's what's gumming us up is not letting go and just existing. It's being worried about what you want to happen and being afraid of what you don't want to happen instead of just happening. And
recognizing that the future is not written. How we be is writing the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's creating what happens. So, and I'd rather do that from a place of wholeness and well-being than one that's, you know, not.
Absolutely.
So we all are that powerful. Again, we've just not been taught this. It's almost a discovery you have to make on your own.
Well, you're being more fully realized, obviously, through this journey.
Yeah.
And being fully realized at the end of near the end of the path is the optimum way to find yourself at the end of this part of the journey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because then the world just becomes your playground.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep.
So, and I think these days there's more and more things distracting us.
Oh my God.
Taking our attention.
Screaming at us from our pockets.
But
look at me. Open me up.
Yeah. Our focus is what grows. Like you take two plants, it's an easy science experiment. You neglect one, you focus on the other. Which one grows? It's the one you focus on.
Right.
So we're that powerful that it's up to us to choose where are we putting our focus, you know? And so, so that's I'm focusing on being creative and offering beautiful things for people to focus on too.
Yeah.
You know, not things that add to their fear or anxiety, but things that actually give them a tingling of excitement about being alive.
Yes.
Because it can be amazing too.
Well, it is pretty amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't say that in ignorance that people are suffering, but
Of
it's,
course.
you know, yeah.
Well, we've all suffered and we've all felt euphoric joy,
Yeah.
and to be fully lit up is, and to experience all of that is the human experience, right? No feeling is final.
Yeah.
Rilke, Rainer Rilke said that.
Yeah.
But
Yes. Look
well,
at you.
well, look at you. Well, what a pleasure it's been to have you here, and
Thank you.
your Substack is
It's postmodern.
postmodern.
Yes. Yes.
And if we're going to look for your music, are we going to find it? I know you have a YouTube channel.
I do. It's under my name.
Yes.
I've been toying with the idea of changing it lately, but for now, it's Jacqueline Rendell.
And you have your live streams up there.
Yep.
And you have your music that you're making, your ambient music, your videos.
Yes.
And that's, are you on the streamers or no? Are you on streaming services or digital platforms? No.
No.
So that's where we find you.
Just YouTube for now.
Just YouTube.
And I just started a Patreon because, again, as a way for anyone who feels like they want to see more of my journey and support me, they now have a way of doing that.
Right.
So, you know, it's my way of also getting out of my own way.
Well, that's great.
Receiving support. So.
Well, it's been an absolute joy.
Thank you, Michael.
Seeing you again and having you on the show. You wanna play us out, and you got something else you can?
Yeah, I mean, I can do one more.
Just kill everybody with, and we'll.
I can do one more.
All right. Put your hands together, everybody, for Jacqueline Rendell.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
The song is called "We Are Human." Dreaming, we're all dreaming in a dream. Different players playing on the same team. Much more than a list. No box is big enough for us to fit in. You are, I am, we are human. Dancing, we're all dancing in a dream, swaying to the music playing on the mind screen. Much more than sheep. We're awakening giants from a deep sleep. You are, I am, we are human. You are, I am, we are human. I'm gonna stop there. Thank you. Thank you.
This concludes our Shake It Up broadcast on CanuckTunes.ca, live from the Cat and Fiddle, corner of John Street South at Augusta in Hamilton. Recorded in front of a pub audience wearing milk bone underwear in a dog-eat-dog world. Next week's guests, Danger, Death Ray, and Ralphie Boy. For Framous, Kimberly Robin, and me, Cancer Free. I'm Gary Greenland. Thanks for listening. Thanks for taking part. Have a great weekend. Remember, CanuckTunes.ca. All Canadian. Always.